Today we are continuing with our series on parenting and discipline, and especially looking at um, the issues of uh, boundaries. Hello, this is the Slow Parenting podcast on TikTok. My name is Richie Adewusi. Thank you, family from across the globe, for joining us. Sorry, we're apologizing again for starting late again. It's not funny. Trust me, it's not funny. But then we're here. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Slow Parenting podcast and live stream on YouTube and TikTok. Thank you so much. It is the Parenting for All season on TikTok. Okay. Thank you guys on TikTok. I thank you as you gently tap on the screens of your devices to like the stream. And thank you as you send me those gifts. Today we are discussing boundaries with soul. We're still on the series for parenting and discipline, and we're looking at parenting gaps. Today we are looking at, you set boundaries. Wonderful idea to set boundaries. You probably would know if you've been following me on this podcast, on the live stream, that on the issue of boundaries, culture, and tradition. Um, we work on that. We appreciate our followers and families from across the world to relate with their children, having as a backdrop to leverage from their culture, their tradition, the family values, the ethics, family ethics. Okay, and then today we are zeroing on how do you form boundaries? How do you get boundaries started in a way that it's or the boundaries now. Boundary with a lot of issues in it. So whether it's it or they makes sense. By making sense, we mean becoming effective, being effective with the children and young people, getting to have ownership, okay, and not think that you have some hidden agenda for the things you are saying to them, or you're asking them to do. So boundaries are important, and uh, we have titled today's episode "Boundaries with Soul," if you like, boundaries with attitude. Okay, effective boundary setting, if you like, to be pedestrian in that sense. Okay, so well, your children might behave beautifully well, okay, when you're around, or even when you are not around, they can tolerate certain things. Yes, I'm using the word tolerate. They can also comply maliciously. Malicious is not a nice word in any circumstance, not to talk of in relationships, okay? They could get to comply maliciously up to a time, and they would be devising their own means about overcoming those restrictions you are putting their ways, and all of that. If they do not own it, if they don't see, if they don't, they might understand it, but then they just feel that, well, it's just whatever you want to do that you get to do. After all, I'm not important in this family. Nobody cares about me in this family. Have you heard those before from your children? I did at some point, yes. Okay, so you need to pay attention to those, and not say, well, whether you like it or not, you got to do. You got to get to that point where you have to dispel those rumors, allay those fears, and let them have an understanding of why certain things need to happen certain ways. And the best way to go about that is have a conference. Yes. Do you mean I should take permission from my children before I get them to do anything? It's not necessarily you taking permission. It's more of you giving yourself peace. Yes. It's more of you giving yourself peace. It's more of you letting your children know that they are important, that their feelings, their opinions matter, their feelings matter. Okay, these are the main issues in this situation. It's not about, oh, I mean, I should be going to take permission from them before doing anything. If you sit together, agree on issues, never mind those who can't talk yet, who can't contribute yet in terms of, oh, this is what my opinions are. Their mom can, you know, decide for them or make their own contribution. I mean, depending on how they relate. I'm talking about the infant, the suckling children, the toddlers. Okay, but you might be surprised. Don't don't put them in their cribs while you are having those conferences. Let somebody carry them. Let them be there. For effect, for the records, take a photograph of all of you sitting and having that or those discussions to come up with, um, what are important to you as a family. Okay? As parents, state what your culture, what your tradition, what your family values are to them, and explain to them. And from those, ask them what they think about specific issues, especially those you've noticed um, that are frustrating you in their behaviors or attitude or practices. And get to explain how those things tally or don't tally with your traditional values, with your cultural values, with your family values and ethics. So, so you carry them along. And then what do you think, guys? You will hear more than you thought you knew. And in that process, you develop some boundaries that everybody will have ownership of. We said it if you've been following, this live stream, this podcast, previous seasons ago, that when your children and young people, I must add, are involved in decision making at home, especially decision making around things that would affect them, that would involve them, the respect gets mutual. Okay? There's co-ownership. Then when you are applying the consequences of breaking any of the rules and the boundaries, even themselves will tell you, well, John, I'm sure you know what's going to happen next. I know I'm in trouble today. Well, yeah. Why? Because they are part of the formulation of those boundaries. They are in agreement with the consequences. Okay? And when it comes to the issue of consequences for breaking boundaries and all of that, apply consequences that relate to the issues, the rules that have been broken. For instance, someone who has stayed too long on a device, it will make sense to say, well, for the next, whatever you have agreed in the boundaries, you are not going to have access to that thing for that time. Oh, I didn't know. No, it's not time over. It is. Check your time. I checked when you started. And I also, called you out to say, don't you think you should? And oh, this thing was just so interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, but then you still broke the rule. Oh, no hard feelings. The child or the young person would rather feel disappointed in him or herself for not following through with what you had agreed on. Okay? It wouldn't be a case of you're just wicked. You just anytime you see me doing it, they won't say it to you, but then some children these days will say it to you. Okay? A child who has liberty to children, young person, liberty is to go visit friends, and you've agreed. Okay, please, let's try to be home for so time anytime you uh, go visiting your friends. The child returns late. It's simple. He has broken curfew, depending on what time of day, broken the goals for the time you could spend with. And when you are agreeing on those timings, on all those rules, explain the reasons for the consequences. You go out, you need to be back, the social time, you agree, reason, don't walk around when it's late. So many crazy things are happening. Okay. Besides, you have other things to take care of, even for yourself back home. So play a little, walk a little, and then everything is balanced up. They understand. But if you now overstay, you'll be grounded. So that's understood. So the child or young person does not overstay with the friends and returns, and the cane is out. Yes, you are disciplining in your understanding, but that line of discipline is not going to yield, you know, productive results. Okay. We've also said in previous editions where we've discussed the issue of boundary settings and all, use consequences that relate directly to what the children would miss. Of course, they will miss using that device. Of course, they will miss having to go to visit them, their friends for the time period that will be grounded for. They would also miss having their allowances cut for certain kinds of demeanors, uh, you know, uh, misbehavior or rule breakages or boundary breaking, misdemeanor. I'm not saying, sorry, you know, to say because you did this, you are not going to eat. No, I often use my mom for an example in families that I have had uh, the privilege of relating with or working with over the years. Don't use food to punish your children. That doesn't make sense. As a matter of fact, the time my mom is, I'm also not telling you that what I'm going to say now is the best or is good. No, but I'm just sharing an experience. Okay, you do something that offends our mom, but it's close to meal time or because she's busy, it's not bothering with you. It might, you broke something, it will look at you. Well, you know that something, as children, you have forgotten, you play on because she's not going to do anything, either because she's busy or there are visitors around or something. You know, we'll finish the meal, she'll finish cooking, we'll serve the meal, everybody will eat. And then she would nicely ask you to go and look for something that is not existent in her bedroom. Because children are children. You have forgotten you did anything earlier. And then you go, hey, jump, hey, hopping into the bedroom. The time you just know that you are dead, they've just not buried you is when you just turn around and now you see mama standing between you and the door. And then stage 2, the door will be closed. Stage 3, my mom will read you your rap sheet. Remember other things that had happened before you broke that thing that you broke. And, eh, you can link it, maybe things you've even forgotten. So I said to parents, don't do that to your children. Okay? Attend to issues when they happen. Yes, attend to issues when they happen. Don't postpone applying consequences. Because that's one of the advantages of boundary setting. Because the person who did the thing, you just say, hey, well, what did you just do? Oh, I broke this. What did we agree on breaking things? How did it break? Maybe I was not being careful. Okay. Whatever you had agreed on for such circumstances or such situations, you apply it. But then do apply consequences. Don't be overtly strict and don't be indulgent. Boundaries help you to achieve that. Because whatever, at least most of the things that could go wrong, you would have captured and agreed on why they should not happen and what would happen if they do happen. So there's no hard feelings for the person. Even the siblings will know, well, okay, apply, discuss issues when they happen. Don't postpone, please. Don't be like my mom. Because most of the time when you are being and her own type of disciplining then was something else. Okay. And when you are going through those gymnastic routines that you would have to go through, including carrying weights and not let your hands fall and must not cry, and all of that, all of those, you have forgotten you did anything wrong. You'll be trying to remember what exactly this punishment is for. You've forgotten. Mostly, yes. So don't try not to postpone issues when they occur. Don't try not to pile up, issues when they occur. Call offenders or boundary breakers out. Okay, call boundary breakers out for what they would have done wrong, if you like, under the circumstances. Okay, under the circumstance. All right. Um, well, as always, we produce our regular in-house video with some salient points and steps that could help you, should help you to set productive and efficient boundaries. Okay, but before we play you that video, I'm excited today, very excited. In spite of all that is happening globally, the economy, insecurity in Nigeria, and all of that, I'm glad, I'm very delighted that a product that we've spent several years working on, and finally, we are happy to have released it. We've talked about it severally in passing. You've been seeing the product scroll behind me in a different form in its third edition form, if you like. What we have out now is the fourth edition of that particular product. And before now, it was not available globally. You couldn't get it you couldn't shop for it online. Now you can. So I'm happy to introduce to you, I'm grinning from ear to ear about the release of our FLE card game, our Family Life Education card game, the Talk Point. You might have read or heard us talk about, use the acronym Keep Talking. You've heard about the book, the Talk Therapy. So this card game is designed, should I say, was invented to help families, parents and their children, groups of young people and their mentors or stewards, you know, in a camp, for instance, they've gone camping, or mostly parents and their children at home discuss some very, sensitive but important at the same time issues that people don't readily find the convenience or comfort to talk about. If we did a quiz now to ask any of the female followers that are watching this now to say, okay, who told you about menstruation in the first place? From our research, when I was writing these books and then originally and producing this card game, a very disappointing percentage came back as not my mother. I've had responses like, oh, it just happened and I didn't know what was happening. Oh, it's my friend. Oh, and that's just one issue. And there was a particular lady, because at the point at which I was researching to produce these materials initially, and I'm talking over 20 years ago, really, yes, the first edition of this card game was designed and produced in 1998. Okay, yes. Now, a young lady, she was in her 40s then, add 20, that's she's 60 something now, yes. Was so bitter about the fact that it wasn't her mother that told her about menstruation. It was her grandfather. And up to that time, that point in time that she participated in that research, that questionnaire at that time. And we tried to let her understand that, look, it wouldn't be that your mother was being wicked or not caring. It would just be a function of culture, tradition. That's nobody probably also prepared her. So she feels that when the time comes, you too will understand. And unfortunately, that's not helpful. That has not been helpful, and that will not be helpful. So those are the kind of issues the card game would help you. Please leave it up. I'm still trying to introduce it. Don't remove it, please, guys. Thank you. Let me enjoy my new baby. Come on. All right. Okay. So those are the kind of issues like wet dreams. How many young people know what wet dreams are? Most of them, from research tools, like, oh, they tell them it's because of their dirty minds, is because of the kind of movies that they watch. No, all of these things are hormonal. They're all natural. And parents should be able to have these discussions with their children. So this game, because it's a game, okay, when you pick the card as a father, as a mother, if it's your turn, you pick from the card set that's for fathers, for mothers. And those are the kind of questions you pick. Because it's a game, you don't have a choice but to talk about it. There will be gigglings, there will be some embarrassing moments, depending on the ages of the children, or you discuss it. And that continues as you have time, as you make time to play this game. It's designed for you not to play it for more than maybe 20 minutes. 20 minutes, a family of 4 would have had 5 solid minutes for each member of the family to have said something to the group. A family of 5 would have had 4 solid minutes to say like that. Okay, that's our recommended playing, time frame for it. It can play for more than that. There are no right answers. There are no wrong answers. They are all basically discussion starters. The questions or activities or issues that are raised. Okay, so it's available. You can find it in our shop on Shopify, okay, or at our publishing partners, the QPMN. When you screen the QR code, it will take you to any of the sites that you first get to, and then you could navigate and look it up. We want to let you know that it's a very good tool. It's a very good tool that can help you, that should help you, that is designed to help you, bond, work towards bonding with your children by way of everybody has something to say. Gives you the opportunity to have an idea of the kind of information that are available to your children, and you are there to clarify according to your tradition, according to your culture, according to your family values and your family etiquette. Okay? So good luck as you play, like we say, keep talking. Go, please, to Shopify and scan the QR code and then support us and support yourself, okay? And get talking. Thank you. So we'll play you our in-house video this time. When we return, wow, there's so many questions from community members here already. When we return, we will deal with the questions. Okay, thank you. Watch the video. Thank you so much.
Dear parents, rules without relationship breed rebellion. You can have the clearest boundaries in the neighborhood, the most consistent consequences, and the firmest household standards, and still watch your children and young people push against every single one of them. Because boundaries that are not connected to genuine emotional warmth are experienced by children and young people as walls, and children and young people will always find a way around walls. This is episode 6 in our Parenting and Discipline series on the #Slow Parenting podcast, drawn from Dr. Richie Adewusi's upcoming book, Effective Parenting Strategies: The Power of Positive Discipline. If you are new here, kindly subscribe now, because this series is addressing the parenting questions that matter most. Warmth and structure are not opposites. Here are 5 ways to hold both at the same time. 1. Dismantle the false choice between permissiveness and authoritarianism. Most parents swing between avoiding conflict at all costs and doubling down in ways that damage connection and bonding. Think of the last 3 parenting conflicts you had and write down honestly whether you backed down or escalated. That pattern tells you your default under pressure position, and knowing your default pressure position is the first step toward replacing it with an approach that actually produces lasting results. 2. Establish non-negotiable family values first. Before you agree on a single boundary, gather your family for a conversation and ask everyone to name what they think your family stands for. Then agree on, and write down 2 or 3 values that are genuinely non-negotiable in your household and post them somewhere visible. Every boundary you agree on from this point forward should be traceable back to one of those values. 3. Build consistent routines that make power struggles unnecessary. Identify the 2 times of day when conflicts happen most frequently and agree on a simple written routine for each one this week. Post it visibly and follow it without deviation for 10 days. Predictable structure removes the uncertainty that fuels resistance, and most parents who do this are genuinely surprised by how quickly those specific daily battles reduce. 4. Agree on boundary-breaking consequences that are logical and connected. Before agreeing on any boundary-breaking consequences with your children or young people, ask yourself whether they have direct and obvious relationships to the behaviors that cause them. If a child misuses screen time is reduced. If belongings are left out carelessly, access to those belongings is temporarily lost. This will mean you are responding with intention rather than improvising in the heat of the moment. 5. Hold the limit calmly when the storm arrives. Write one short sentence that expresses your most important boundary clearly, something like, "I understand you are upset and the answer is still no." Practice saying it out loud before you ever need it in a live situation. When the emotional storm eventually arrives, that rehearsed sentence gives you something calm to return to rather than escalating, negotiating, or backing down under pressure. These 5 approaches together build boundaries that children and young people do not just obey because they have to, but respect because they understand what those boundaries stand for, because again, they were part of the setting of those boundaries. Our livestream this episode takes this chapter apart in full. Come with your real scenarios and your real questions. The link is below. Thank you for watching. If this video is helpful, Please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Kindly share with other parents who are navigating this, and stay connected with the #SlowParenting podcast community. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode in this series.
Welcome back. Thank you for watching the video. Like we always say, if you find the video useful, kindly just share it widely. Send it to that person that's been dropped in your heart that, oh, this person needs to see this video. Please share it, okay, widely, freely. And thank you for making up your mind to pick up the pack of Family Life Education card game from Shopify, okay? Because scan the QR code. You will see it's also scrolled by like the other books that are scrolling. If you find any of the books also useful for you or someone that you think might be useful for, would appreciate your picking copies and then gifting them to or reading yourself. So thank you very much. And we go now into taking a contribution from our community members. The first one here says, my 12-year-old called out our past permissiveness and said, why would I listen to you? How do we earn regard retroactively when she remembers every inconsistency? 12-year-old is remembering retroactive, speaking grammar retroactive. Okay, good. At least the money you are paying in school is not, it's not wasted. All right. Well, remember, it's a conversation that you are going into now. Don't fail to apologize for anything. Sorry, we didn't bring this up earlier, but then we are now. So we would like to know what you would like to say about this now, okay? Yesterday is gone. Sorry, would have done this earlier. We ought to have done this earlier, but they say better late than never. We are doing it now, okay? Don't play the hard mommy or the hard daddy stance for this person that's already talking retroactive and inconsistency. Yeah? And don't mark the grammar. This is not the time to mark that grammar. Maybe when you are finished, when you are in a lighter mood, everybody is now laughing. Oh, come, where did you get that retroactive from? Where did it? Well, you laugh about it. Also learn to find the funny side of, if you like, the sunny side of things that happen around your home. Okay? Yeah. The second one here, contribution from a community member here says, I see parents lose their calm and damage relationship, even with agreed boundaries. How do they make up for that damage without swinging into permissive overcompensation? First of all, know yourself, okay? Know your triggers. We've had a whole episode talking about know your child, know your children. Now we are saying know yourself. If something is going to trigger you, yes, I know we have said earlier, don't postpone anything. There are things you should postpone till you are in the state of mind to revisit them. When you are now in that appropriate state of mind, then you call for a conference, or you seek for the attention or call for the attention of the particular individual, child or young person, and have that conversation. You must have that conversation, but please don't have the conversation whatever form or for whatever purpose, when you are upset. It's not going to end well. Okay, it's not going to end well. Losing your calm is easier when you are upset and then something else happens to trigger you. Or when you are stressed, when you are distressed, it might not be anything to do with the children or the home. It might be from the workplace, it might be from the traffic, it might be from the grocery store, wherever. But calm down, work on yourself first, and then come home and be home to attend to the home issues, okay? Another community member here says, can a family value be truly non-negotiable if parents themselves violate it sometimes? Or is it okay as long as they apologize? I will start from the last part of your question. Once somebody has apologized for something genuinely, yeah, it doesn't make the thing okay, but the person it has happened anyway, and the person has had this state of the presence of mind to apologize. Now let's go back to the top of the question: can a family value be truly non-negotiable? You need to agree on those family values that are non-negotiable. Yes, you agree on them. Like we say, leveraging from your culture, leveraging from your tradition, and in this case, say, well, in this family. Okay, what do you guys think? These are the reasons, these are the reasons. You listen to them. They'll come up, well, those are the Joneses. Okay, the examples you gave are from the Joneses, but we here, from where we come from where we originated, came here, or even if you're living amongst your own people, amongst your own traditional people, and all, here in this family, here, this is who we are. Okay, and would appreciate it if we all agree to any objections. Daddy, what about, like we said, that suits them there in their family. But for us here, for this reason, for this reason, for this reason, this would not work for us. So they are not negotiable. Yes, there are family boundaries, family values that you have to agree and are non-negotiable. Like you had in that video, have them written down and printed out and put in a conspicuous place in the home that everybody will read it and understand. Frame it if you like, put it there. Let it be known. That's the Constitution here. Do you negotiate Constitution? No. So that's your family constitution. It's not negotiable, but you all agree to it. Okay? Yeah. When they apologize if they have broken it themselves, yeah, not without consequences. Yes. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Daddy, mommy, if you're the one who break this rule, it will cost you ice cream or pizza. Or we will tell you what we want, where we want to go. So if you know you're not going to take us to, so don't do that thing. So you agree, it's in the rule. Yes, mommy, my daddy will say, yes, I agree. If I break it, yes, I agree to. So he apologized. I said, mommy, who wants to eat pizza? I mean, not mommy asking now. One of the very naughty siblings who remind pizza time because mommy or daddy has broken the rule. And the penalty is you have to buy pizza for everybody. Okay? You smile about, you laugh about it, and then you pass the message. You are not above the law. And that's very important. Okay? Another community member here says, can a parent ever be too consistent? For example, enforcing a screen limit during a child's genuine grief or illness. You see, that's already sounding like indulgence to me. It's already sounding like an excuse. Grief, illness. You might bend the rule a little bit. You might just, but again, children are very good Nollywood and Hollywood and Bollywood actors. In case you've not noticed, they will try your patience. They will try your limits. That headache, that fever can return when they want to do that thing. And if you're also a sharp mom, a sharp dad like them, you say, okay, all right, okay, this fever, I hope it's not because you want extra time on the, no, mommy, you can see I'm very hot. Okay, let's go to the hospital. Mommy, can't I stay at home and drink? No, let's go to the hospital. So when we come back from the child, if he's play active, especially for our children who don't like taking injections and all of that, the fever will disappear. So there's no extended. So you have to be sure, okay, that this child is genuinely, whatever the grief, well, maybe a loss is or a pet or something, it's just a period of time to extend certain things if that makes the child to relax a little bit more. It's for a while. And then all the other siblings, if that child has other siblings, would know that this is for this reason. It's not just for any reason that you can break the boundary that had been set, okay? Yeah. Another community member here says, at what point can parents know that certain agreed boundaries are not effective in the household? Is it just when children stop showing remorse? No, I don't think so. There are boundaries that, children outgrow by their ages, okay? Like, for instance, the issue of the time they stay out or the time they could go out or the places they could go. Those things should actually change with time with their ages, with some adjustments, agreed adjustments too, discussed and negotiated adjustments as well. Okay? You don't wait for them to break it and tell you, Mommy, I'm 18 now. No, you don't wait for that time. Okay? You're bringing it up during any of your family get together, whether prayer or meal times, or as you play talk points, family life education card game in this instance, to pick it up and play it. It could be one of those sessions that you are like, okay, well, we are planning for your 18th birthday, right? Okay. Yes, Daddy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're planning. Well, as part of that, we know that if you like, time to spend with your friends, you need to be home for 4 p.m., for instance. We say, okay, well, we are adding some 2 more hours to that. It should be happy. First, she gets to have an understanding that you recognize that she's, attained a certain age and that you respect her for that, or him in that case, whichever case. To be happy that it didn't come out of a conflict. There's no war on before. Can't you say now, am I a child anymore? No, you don't wait for that. The young people appreciate that as well. Okay, so the remorse that will come from that they say, I'm sorry for how I spoke with you that time, but that I should spend more time with my friends now. They are teasing me, mommy's child, daddy's child. You don't wait for those to happen. Okay, thank you. Another one here says, what are some examples of family values you would recommend that parents base their boundary setting on? There are several. Depends on dating, marriage, friends, certain lifestyles. Depends on culture, depends on tradition. So if I'm now, being specific, then I'm infringing because all cultures, all traditions are not the same. What's important is what you agree on as a family. Of course, with you as parent having given a background or backgrounds to who you are, where you're from, how certain things are done, especially when the children are suggesting this, it's okay, well, where we come from, it's not done that way. They will want to know how it's done. You explain it and give the reasons. The ones you don't know, find out. Tell them you find out and do find out and do give them feedback from your finding out. Okay? Luckily and lastly, the last one here, unless another one comes in before we are done with this, it says, can a parent outsource boundary holding to charts, timers, apps, and does that remove the relational soul you are talking about? You cannot. Those things are just reminders. They're just tools, okay, to hold things. No, like we said, enforce boundaries, enforce consequences. The charts or the tables or whatever you have on the wall and all cannot enforce anything, cannot call meetings, cannot hold discussions or interrogations. No, they're just reminders. They're just necessary, useful, helpful tools. They can't replace you. So there's nothing that you're not outsourcing nothing. You can't outsource. You shouldn't. You mustn't outsource, anything. What brings the soul to the whole mix is your conversation, is that chat, that discussion. Even in the face of wrongdoing, you're having that discussion because that's it. That's it. You're pointing it out. And then you're asking, in this case now, what did we agree would happen? The child. So there's that the feeling of being unfair from the child will not happen. You know that you have done wrong. You agreed to that certain things will happen in certain ways, should certain behaviors be exhibited or practices be exhibited. Yeah. The chart on the wall, the constitution on the wall, whatever law you put on the wall would not do that. Those are laws, but laws still need interpretation. Yes. It's still human beings that will interpret the laws. The laws don't interpret themselves. Okay? So whatever tools you have agreed that you have provided from your agreed positions and put out for everybody to see is for that reason, for everybody to see and remember. But when they are broken, you can only say, quickly, okay, John, can you come? Yeah. Can you read number 4 on that? When you say, John, can you read number 4? John already remembers, okay, that's true. I shouldn't have. Maybe I had forgotten. But then the rule is there. That's what those things are for. What brings the soul is that communication. Communication is key, very key in any relationship building, any type of relationship. Communication is key. Once communication is not activated, like we've said previously on this program, communication itself does not have a life of its own. That's not my saying. That's Professor Wilbur Schramm. Communication does not have a life of its own. Outside of what the people in a communication relationship put in that communication. In this case, you are discussing the boundaries. You set it up. You communicated to set it up. You communicated to put it on that wall. That's a communication function. To have it produced, put on the wall. And then when anybody breaks it, you are saying, okay, we are still communicating for that. John, can you read me number 4 on that thing? John will go. John is communicating. Oh, I know I've offended already. So now you are the judge. It's up to you now to say, okay, well, yes, what did we agree will happen? Oh, that, yeah, okay. I go and wash the car, if that's the agreement. And when he's washing that car, you reach out there to your gisting with him, okay? So that's the soul, okay? Because your purpose for disciplining a child is not to damage, but to repair and construct and build. Yes. Okay. So with that, I want to thank everyone who had made it to this edition of our podcast today on YouTube and on TikTok. Thank you guys. Wow, we've gone beyond 4K on the likes. Thank you so much, guys. So I thank all of you, and I thank those of you who are making up your mind to go check up. Please, at least go check it up. Okay, go to Shopify, type Nostalgia Media Store or Talk Points. Talk is TALK, POINTS, Talk Points. family life education card game, it will take you to our store on Shopify. Just look at it, leave a review, leave a comment, would appreciate it. Then you can order, okay, for yourself, for your loved one, for your colleagues, would appreciate that. So thank you so very much for being with me today. I still the Slow Parenting podcast, a live stream on YouTube, and it's Parenting for All Seasons on TikTok. My name is still Richie Adewusi. It's the same time every week, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and then 7 p.m. West Africa time, including Nigeria. Thank you for being part of this show today. I'll see you again in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.